So great to be here. Good morning. Are we ready to do this? I can't hear you. Are we ready to do this? You know, I have to give it up to my partner in justice and equity, Senator Tony Atkins, who's here as well. Give it up for San Diego in the house. I am so honored to be here today with our California nurses, with this amazing coalition of men and women who believe that healthcare is a human right for everyone. You know, when you leave here and march a few blocks to the Capitol, you know, in a few hours, we will hold the first hearing for Senate Bill 562, the Healthy California Act. It's been a long march just to get here, and you all know it, and the nurses have been leading the way. Let's give a shout out to our nurses. Let's give a shout out to the activists who have never lost faith. Let's give it up to the moms and dads who believe that health care should be a human right and that we should no longer pay these outrageous costs for our care and quality of care. Thank you for carrying on this fight for universal health care for so long, because it is the right and moral thing to do. And we are here, and we are going to ensure that we get closer to ensuring that we can put California on the mark and ensure that California becomes the first state to have a single-payer system. You know, for me, this fight for health care started with my parents. As two undocumented immigrants, we did not have access to health care in the most powerful state in this country. We had to travel to Mexico to get just basic care or just forgo having care entirely. And so this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. The Healthy California Act will establish a state-based universal health care system and provide comprehensive health care to cover every single Californian. We have come a long way with the Affordable Care Act. We have come a long way with Covered California, but we still know that there are 2.9 million people that do not have care in our great state. We are not going to rest until everyone has access to comprehensive health care. Are you with me? We know that those who do not have access to care have significantly worse health outcomes and are disproportionately people of color and families from low-income communities. Americans continue to pay more than any other industrialized nation in the world for less care. How does this make sense? How does this make sense to ensure that we, as the richest country in this globe, continue now to pay more for our care and get less? That is not right. That is not right, and we have to change that. With President Trump's promise to abandon the Affordable Care Act and leave millions without access to care, California must lead. Just as we are protecting a woman's right to choose, just as we are protecting against and for our immigrants to be integrated into our society, just as we are protecting our world-renowned environmental policies against this administration, we are prepared to protect our health care and ensure that everyone has care with or without this damn president. You know, This Trump administration wants to divide us. They want to intimidate us. But you know, I come from a very strong woman, a very strong mother, who crossed the border at 16 with not knowing a lick of English, not knowing how she was going to get by. And together with my father, they put together the resources to now ensure that their son is a state senator in the greatest state in California. Mr. Trump, you don't intimidate my immigrant mother. You're certainly as hell not going to intimidate me. Not now, not ever. And he is not, certainly not going to intimidate any of us in this room today. So we are going to put the naysayers aside. We're going to put the people aside who say that this cannot be done, and we're going to encourage them to think outside the box. As a matter of fact, there is no box. Join us in this revolution to ensure that everyone has access to care. We don't care if you're undocumented. We don't care if you're a low-income worker. We want to ensure that everyone has the right to care, because this is who we are as a society. One election is not going to determine who we are as Americans and who we are as Californians. California leads. California has the courage to say that it is time to finally remove the insurance companies from the decision-making of how we get care in this country. It is time to say once and for all that healthcare is a right, not a privilege for those who can afford it. It's time to give every California resident one plan and the ability to choose their doctor and their care. It is time to put doctors and nurses in charge, not insurance companies. Are you with me? The road will be difficult and long ahead, but know that Tony Atkins and I are committed to taking this all the way to the finish line. We are committed to ensuring that we once and for all create this system. You know, I just came back from Canada and see firsthand how this system works. We can still innovate. We can still be the world leaders in research under a public system. We know that this is the only option given the imminent threat of this administration. So I just want you to know that I am with you. Tony Atkins is with you. We are in it for the long haul. We know this might take a while, but we are committed because you, everyone, every single one of you in this room feels our passion for change, feels our passions for equity, and ensuring that we get this done. And this is going to be a dedication not only to every single one of you, but to that child that continues to lack health care, to those immigrants that feel threatened with this administration. We are going to tell them that they matter, that every low-income family no longer has to choose between putting food on their table and determining what kind of care they're going to access. So are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for health care that costs less? Are you ready for health care that covers everyone? Are you ready to make California the first state to cover all its residents? California, it's ready. Let's get this done. Let's get this done now. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being in this fight with us. Muchas gracias a todos. Esto es plan para la justicia de todos y asegurar de que todos tengamos acceso a un cuidado de salud. Gracias a todos ustedes por estar con nosotros. Thank you so much, and let's get this done.